Hello students, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I am going to teach you the poem Nose versus Eyes. This poem was written by William Cowper. William Cowper was one of the most popular 18th century English poets and composers of hymns. His poems deal with nature and everyday life. He is aptly described by Samuel T. Coleridge as the best modern poet of his times. Though he studied jurisprudence, he later admitted that he was not much inclined to the legal profession. He wrote, "Happy is the one who knows just as much of the law to make himself as a little merry now, and then with the solemnity of the jurisdiction proceedings." Nose versus Eyes is a satire on the judiciary system. It also mocks at the stone blind justice in a humorous manner, emphasizing upon the lack of empathy and common sense. Nose versus eyes. Between nose and eyes, a strange contest arose. The spectacles set them unhappily wrong. The point in dispute was, as all the world knows, to which the said spectacles ought to belong. In the first stanza, we can see that nose and eyes are fighting, or they are in a dispute about the owner of the spectacles. We all know that nose cannot see, eyes can see. So, eye is the owner of the spectacle. But eyes and nose are fighting, and the spectacles set them unhappily wrong. The point of dispute was that, as all the people of the world knows, eye is the owner of the spectacle. So tongue was the lawyer and argued the cause with great deal of skill and a wig full of learning, while chief baron ear set to balance the laws, so famed for his talent in nicely discerning. So in the second stanza, we can see that tongue is the lawyer and it is arguing the case with great deal of skill and sagacity. It is a wig full of learning. Wig means a special covering for the head made of artificial hair worn by the judges. While chief baron ear said to balance the laws. Baron means a powerful person. So here the ear is the main person who is going to set the balance of the laws. So here ear is the main person. It is acting as judge to balance the laws. As you know, tongue, nose, ear, eyes, these all are sensory organs. So here, ear is the most important person who is so famed for his talent in nicely discerning. Discerning means showing good judgment. In behalf of the nose, it will quickly appear, and your lordship, he said, will undoubtedly find that the nose has its spectacles always in wear, which amounts to possession time out of mind. So, in behalf of the nose, it will quickly appear, he said, will undoubtedly find that nose has had spectacles always in wear. So the tongue, the lawyer is telling that nose has its spectacles always in wear. We all know that nose cannot see, but the argument, the statement made by the tongue in the court is totally illogical, which amounts to possession time out of mind. So it becomes a kind of possession time out of mind. So here we can see that the lawyer is making some nonsensical arguments in the court. Then holding the spectacles up the court, your lordship observes they are made with a straddle as wide as the ridge of the nose is, in short, designed to sit close to it just like a saddle. Then the tongue was showing the spectacles to the court, and he was making argument that they are made with a straddle. Straddle means a seat for the rider of a horse or camel. So, as wide as the ridge of the nose is in short. So, designed to sit close to it just like a saddle. So, the lawyer is telling that these straddles can sit on the nose. Every person has a nose. There is not a single person who is without nose. So spectacles can sit on the nose. So this statement is totally illogical because spectacles are designed for the eyes. Spectacles are made for the eyes, not for the nose, because nose cannot see, eyes can see. So eye is the owner of the spectacles. Again, would your lordship a moment suppose it is a case that has happened, and maybe again that the visage or countenance had not a nose, pray who would or who could wear spectacles then? So then what happened? It is a case that has happened, and it may happen again, that the visage or countenance, it means face. This line is a poetic device. Which poetic device? Tautology. Had not a nose, pray who would or who could wear spectacles then? Then the lawyer is demanding that he is making the argument that if the face doesn't have nose, then how could a person wear spectacles? So this statement is totally illogical. Then what happened? On the whole, it appears, and my arguments shows, with the reasoning the court will never condemn, that the spectacles plainly were made for the nose, and the nose was as plainly intended for them. So then, the argument shows that with the reasoning the court will never condemn. Condemn means express disapproval of something. That the spectacles plainly were made for the nose, and the nose was as plainly intended for them. So spectacles were made for the nose. So even the ear is also senseless. That spectacles were made for the nose. So there is no logic in the statement made by the ear, who is acting as the judge in the court. and the nose was as plainly intended for them. So, nose is the owner of the spectacle. Then, shifting his side as a lawyer knows how, he pleaded again in behalf of the eyes. But what were his arguments? Few people know. For the court did not think they were equally wise. Then what happened? The lawyer is trying to shift his side because the lawyer is a cunning person. He is pleading again in behalf of the eyes. Then he is shifting his side and is supporting the eyes. But what were his arguments? Few people know. But few people know that his arguments are illogical. For the court did not think they were equally wise. But the court is not thinking that the two statements are totally equal. So once if you make any statement in the court, that statement is final. You cannot make statement twice. Your first statement is always acceptable and advisable. So the lordship decreed with a grave solemn tone, decisive and clear, without one if or but, that whenever the nose put his spectacles on, by daylight or candlelight, eyes should be shut. So in the last stanza, we can see that the ear is giving the final judgment with a solemn tone. Solemn means dignified, formal. Decisive, that is final and clear. So without thinking, without any logic, the judge, the ear, is giving the final judgment. That whenever the nose put his spectacles on, by daylight or candlelight, eyes should be shut. So finally we can see that the ear is making the statement that when the nose put on his spectacles, eyes should be shut. It is never possible to keep our eyes shut while putting our spectacles on. So we can see that this poem is a mockery at the legal system. So it is a travesty of justice. It is really funny and satirical. The poem is really sarcastic that aims at mocking the blind justice. So everyone in the court is totally senseless, as is spoken by William Cowper through this poem. So the poet is convincing the readers by saying that we should use our sensory abilities. Without logic, we should not make any kind of comment or statement. So this poem aims at mocking the legal system of the society. Thank you.